I've noticed we're losing subscribers. Not the YouTube kind, but the kind that swore they'd be in my life forever. Funny how that works. One day you're surrounded by people who claim to love you, and the next, you're watching them walk away like you were just another phase in their lives. By the way, if you're here, do me a favor, subscribe. It's free, and unlike some people in my life, you won't regret sticking around. It's 2 a.m. and I'm exhausted. I'm crying, my body aches, and I feel like I'm suffocating under the weight of everything I've kept bottled up. I never wanted to burden my friends or family with my marital problems, but I can't hold it in anymore. I'm 34, married to Nathan, 37. We've been together for 8 years, and for the past 3, ever since our daughter was born, I have completely lost faith in him. I can't trust him with anything, big or small. To understand why this is breaking me, you need to know where I started. When I was 19, a truck driver fell asleep at the wheel and turned my car into scrap metal, with me inside it. The wreck left me with so much metal in my body that I light up like a Christmas tree in airport security. I have good days and bad days, and eventually I'll need a wheelchair. A portion of my settlement money went toward buying a house and retrofitting it for my future. I work in software development, which I love because I can do it from home, even from bed when my body refuses to cooperate. Nathan hasn't worked in 5 years, which I was fine with before our daughter was born. Between my salary, the paid-off house, and what was left of my settlement, we were financially stable. He handled most of the housework, and we even hired a cleaner to help. It worked. But the moment our daughter arrived, something in him changed. It was like a switch flipped, and suddenly he couldn't be trusted with anything. He constantly buys the wrong size diapers, doesn't mix bottles properly, and has put diapers on backward more times than I can count. He forgets to latch cabinets, leaves out dirty wipes, and this week alone he's gone to the store 3 separate times, coming back with the wrong size socks and shoes every single time. I ended up ordering them myself on Amazon. And it's not just about her, it's about me too. He spilled my medications more times than I can count and never cleans them all up. He hands me grapefruit juice, knowing full well it reacts dangerously with my meds. He forgets I can't have dairy and puts milk in my coffee, cheese on my burger. He has broken so many of my things by just being careless. The worst part? He doesn't even learn from his mistakes. He shattered my laptop because he insisted on packing it for a trip, even after I said I'd do it myself. He's destroyed more forks and spoons than I can count by shoving them into the garbage disposal. He tried to fix my car's head gasket and ended up over-torquing a bolt, completely wrecking the engine. We had to buy a new car because repairing it would have cost over $1,000. A week later he crashed the new car into our garage door. What? Because he hit the gas instead of the brakes. Lately he's been obsessed with TikTok and streaming. I supported it at first because I thought it would be a fun hobby for him. But I quickly saw the pattern. When it came to me or our daughter, he was careless, forgetful, and sloppy. But when it came to his online content, he was focused. He spent hours building elaborate sets in the garage for his streams. He would disappear into his projects for hours while I handled everything else. 4 nights ago, everything came to a head. That evening I worked, picked up our daughter from summer camp, cooked, fed us both, and got her ready for bed. Meanwhile, Nathan spent 9 straight hours in the garage streaming. When he finally emerged, I asked him to take out the trash. That was it, one simple task. He said he would. 2 hours later, I left my office and immediately felt something was off. The house was warmer than usual. I looked around and realized he had taken the trash out, but had left the front door wide open. Our 3-year-old daughter was asleep, thank God, but she could have easily gotten out and wandered into the night, and he wouldn't have noticed. Then I smelled something burning. I walked into the kitchen and saw that one of the stovetop burners was on, with an empty pot sitting on it, glowing hot. I hadn't even used the stove that night. I stormed into the garage and called his name. "Hey, I need you for a minute." He turned, distracted. "What's up?" I told him about the front door. His response? "I thought I locked it." I checked the security footage. No, he did not. I asked about the burner. His answer? "Oh, I was gonna make ramen and forgot." I walked back into the kitchen, and before I could even process the level of incompetence, he pulled the burning hot pot off the stove and, without thinking, set it directly on top of our daughter's favorite plastic plate. The plate melted instantly. Something inside me snapped. I screamed, "What are you doing?" His eyes widened as he realized what he had done. In a panic, he grabbed the pot and moved it again, this time directly onto the countertop, burning a massive mark into the surface. I grabbed it and ran it under cold water, my hands shaking with frustration. I turned to him, my voice exhausted, and said, I can't deal with this tonight. I'm taking my meds and going to sleep." And I did. But now, lying here at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, I'm wondering how much more I can take. I don't know if I crossed a line or if I just finally said what I've been thinking for years. But the moment the words left my mouth, I knew there was no taking them back. It started with a cup. A simple, replaceable cup. After leaving a burning hot pot on our daughter's favorite plate, after nearly burning down the house, after leaving the front door open with our child asleep inside, Nathan grabbed a cup from the cupboard and set it directly onto the same burner that had just been on. Something inside me broke. I started crying, not soft, sad tears, but the kind that comes when you're so emotionally drained that your body just gives up. And Nathan? He just stood there, arms crossed, sighing like I was the one being unreasonable. Why are you crying? It's just a cup. Accidents happen. I had a long day. I'm tired. That was it. That was the moment I hit my limit. I snapped. I yelled that it wasn't just about this cup or this night, it was everything. It was the fact that I couldn't trust him with anything. That I had to watch him like a child. That every time I let my guard down and assumed he could handle something like an adult, I was the one who paid the price. And then I said it. You're not a partner. You're a liability. His face twisted in anger. What the F*** does that mean? I didn't hold back. It means I can't rely on you. It means I'm constantly fixing your mistakes. It means I can't keep pretending like we're in this together when I'm the only one who actually is. I didn't realize how much I meant it until I said it out loud. He didn't yell back. He didn't apologize. He just stormed out of the kitchen and went to bed. That night I called my mom. I told her everything. She said it was stress, that we needed a break, that maybe time apart would help. She offered to take our daughter for a week so we could work things out. She also told me in no uncertain terms that calling my husband a liability was cruel. The next morning, I told Nathan my mom would be picking up our daughter after summer camp. His response? A flat, lifeless okay. And that was it. For days he barely acknowledged me. He stayed in the garage playing games, streaming, making TikToks, like nothing had happened. He wouldn't come inside for meals. He ordered DoorDash and had the delivery drivers bring it straight to the garage. I tried. I messaged him asking if we could talk. Left on read. I walked into the garage once to check on him and he ignored me, but the second I left, I heard him apologize to his friends for the interruption and unmute his mic. I tried. Before all this, I had gently asked him if something was wrong, if maybe something was going on with his health, if he needed to see a doctor. Every time he dismissed it. People make mistakes. You overreact. Even when the mistakes kept happening. Even when they started costing us. That was another thing. When I pointed out how expensive his mistakes were getting, he just waved it off. It's not like we can't afford it. That was the final straw for me. For years, I made sure he never felt financially dependent. I never wanted him to feel trapped or like he had to ask me for money. So we had a system. My paycheck was split 3 ways: household expenses, savings, and a personal account for each of us. His account was his money. He could save or spend it however he wanted. But after reading through every response, every comment, I realized something. Our system had been built on the idea that we were both contributing. And that hasn't been true for a long time. So I stopped. I removed his name as an authorized user on the household account. I canceled his deposits. I couldn't touch his personal account, but I made sure he wouldn't be spending another dime of my money. And now I don't know where we stand. Before our daughter was born, I valued what he did. He cooked, he cleaned, he helped maintain the house. He was my partner. But that person is gone. And I don't know if I'll ever get him back. It sounds like OP is in a state of cautious hope, but she's also fully aware that this could be another temporary fix before her husband falls back into old habits. She's smart to set clear expectations, hold him financially responsible for the damages he caused, and monitor whether real changes happen over time. The love bombing concerns are valid. A big, thoughtful date night doesn't erase months, or years, of neglect and irresponsibility. His joke about something must be wrong with his brain because he chose to love someone medically fragile was a massive red flag. Even if it was said in jest, it reveals some of his deeper feelings, possibly resentment or self-pity. At least he immediately apologized when he saw how much it hurt OP. Her financial strategy was generous in theory, but it unintentionally enabled his poor behavior. Now, by limiting his allowance and requiring him to pay for his own mistakes, she's putting a necessary level of accountability in place. If he truly wants to fix things, this will be a test of his commitment. If he starts sulking, making excuses, or looking for ways to bypass responsibility, OP will have her answer. The fact that he instantly went into panic mode after reading her post is telling. It suggests he didn't fully grasp how serious things had gotten until he saw it through the lens of an outsider. But fear of consequences isn't the same as genuine change. It's easy to be on good behavior for a few weeks when the pressure is on. Real change means proving consistency over months and years. The biggest takeaway here is that OP isn't letting herself be blinded by love. She knows this might not work, but she's giving him the opportunity to prove himself. Whether he actually steps up or just falls back into old habits will determine if this marriage has a future. Her patience isn't endless, and her final paragraphs make it clear. She's ready to walk if he doesn't get it together. Whoa, that ending was abrupt, but it feels like OP has emotionally checked out. The way she says, "I'm sad he squandered it," sounds like a quiet resignation, like she already knows where this is heading. The part about her financial independence is huge. If she's just a few years from retiring, she has zero incentive to stay in a situation that drains her. She gave him every opportunity to thrive as a house husband, and he threw it away. Her acknowledgement that the toxic work environment was real, but also that she wasn't going to say it, suggests she's no longer interested in defending him. It's like she's saying, yeah, that part was true, but it doesn't excuse his choices. The last line about her sister is a random drop, but it might hint that she has a history of betrayal in her personal life. Maybe this whole situation is stirring up old wounds. Overall, it feels like OP is preparing for the inevitable. She's seeing things clearly now, and the emotional weight behind her words suggests she's moving toward an exit. This story is a powerful reminder that love alone isn't enough to sustain a relationship. Actions, accountability, and mutual respect are just as important. No matter how much history you have with someone, if they repeatedly let you down and fail to grow, the burden of fixing things shouldn't always fall on you. If this story resonates with you, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever been in a situation where you gave someone chance after chance, only to realize they weren't willing to change? Share your experiences in the comments, like this post if you relate, and don't forget to follow for more real-life discussions.